We have two incredibly powerful Dark Visions characters for you guys to go over today. We're going over Wildcard Ace and Benevolent Beauty Rem. Thank you guys for spending some time here today on the channel. Thank you guys for so much for that support via Patreon as well as the YouTube channel membership program. Let's get into it for you guys here. Let's talk about Wildcard Ace first. Bolting Strike, Chaos Wave Awakened, Chaining Frame family here. Before we get into his TMR and STMR, we're going to talk about what makes these two characters so special, because they are magic damage dealers. They are mages, but they work in a different way than all of the other mages in the game. This is because they are a physical attack type character that does magic damage based off their magic stat. If you know of Shuanglu Xinglong or Leela from back in the day, they are very similar to those characters, but they use the magic stat for their magic damage, not the spirit stat, which means you can get a lot of magic stat because of true dual-wield magic, true double-hand magic, things of that nature, just having higher magic on gear and having the ability to actually get higher true dual-wield magic from gear as well. So this is going to allow you to imbue them. This is going to allow you to be very versatile with the elements they're using. It's going to allow you to use physical killers, which is a lot easier to gain hold of to the high percentages, 300% killer cap, compared to magic damage. You're using the physical versions of all this stuff, so it gives you like the best of both worlds. We talked about them originally when they got spoiled. They're finally in here in global, so let's talk about them right here with Ace. So the TMR here is Wildcard, 144 magic throwing weapon with 20% magic on it, and the effect of Mysterious card, which gives him 25% demon and machine at killer. So it's a pretty great TMR there for him. His STMR is the Vermilion Flag and accessory, 60 magic, 50 spirit, and the effect of the beginning of the end. What this is going to do, it's going to increase your break resist to magic and spirit breaks. So his STMR, in my opinion, guys, not that crazy. Just stick with his TMR. You can get some other stuff better. Down the line, he's fine. This is all you need, right? It's all you need. 144 magic, 20% magic, you'll do fine there. You could get the STMR, put a better weapon on, whatever. It's not really all that necessary. Equipment selection for him, we have rods, daggers, harps, whips, and throwing weapons. So if you did get that Quistis TMR, Quistis Super TMR, you can put that on him. Armor selection, hats, clothing, light armor, and robes. Now let's dive into him. He does have a pretty bloated kit here, but I'm going to break it down for you guys as easy as possible. Remember, the main thing that we're taking advantage here, as you can see, all of his good stuff, pretty much all of his skills, period, are physical attack type that scale off of your magic stat and do magic damage. So we have a couple of things here. We have some Chaos Wave, we have some Chaos Wave Awaken, we have some Bolting Strike. Actually, not Chaos Wave at all, only Chaos Wave Awaken. Chaos Wave Awaken and Bolting Strike Chaining Frame families here. We have some stuff in his kit, right? He's got the ability to put Mirage Stack for your whole party for one turn. He's got the ability to provoke to himself for one turn there. But really what we're looking for, we have a Imbue and Imperil of Lightning up to a 6 turns for himself and the enemy there, as well as ice. We have access to that. We have access to Break Sight Ace here, which is going to give himself a Demon and Machine Killer of 50%, or if you use it after Attack Hand Plus, it's going to be a 75% buff there for yourself. You have Dual Cast, you have Triple Cast as well for all of his skills. We have Attack Hand Plus, which is going to be a cooldown skill for 250% magic stat buff, and a 42 times mod Chaos Wave Awakened Chaining mod. We have Short Burst Plus, which is going to unlock Giga Stop, and here's where we're going to kind of truncate a lot of the abilities here. So we have Short Burst Plus, HP Charge Plus, MP Charge Plus, Burst Plus, Burst Plus Plus. And we have Peta Stop, Exa Burst, Peta HP Charge, Peta MP Charge, and Exa Burst Plus. Basically, guys, these skills are going to unlock from using different skills. So, example, Short Burst Plus unlocks Giga Stop. HP Charge Plus unlocks Giga HP Charge. MP Charge Plus unlocks Giga MP Charge. Burst Plus unlocks Terra Burst. Burst Plus Plus unlocks Terra Burst Plus. Things of this nature. It's really not that big of a deal because these skills are fairly powerful in their own right. We're at 53 times mods, 40 times mods, and the unlocked version follows suit. They just have like better secondary effects, like better HP regen or better MP regen or better imperils, things of that nature. So that's kind of how that stuff is going to work out down here. We'll go over the Peta Stop and Exa Burst plus, but the ones that we're talking about right now, the HP Charge, MP Charge, that will unlock the HP Giga Charge and things of that nature. That's really all that does there. They have decent multipliers, but they're not really his mainstay damage dealing skills. They're this side support things that are kind of have okay effects, but at the end of the day, it's just a big mouthful to try to go through all of them. I don't want to waste 15 minutes of your time. Hopefully you understand what we're doing there, what we just talked about there. So now we have Jackpot Triad here. Jackpot Triad. We have a 4-turn cooldown available on turn 4, 70 times mod Chaos Wave Awakened. Summon True Eidolon Ace, 6-turn cooldown available on turn 1. Increases evocation gauge by 10, increases LB gauge by 40 to all allies, removes all of your status effects, and then you get an unresistible death on yourself. So it's like the ultimate type 0, increase the evo gauge, increase your team's limit burst, all that stuff, and then he kind of sacrifices himself there. And then we have Cut Cards Plus, 14-turn cooldown available on turn 7, so you have to be in the long haul for this stuff to matter here. And this skill does unlock Peta Stop, Exa Burst, Peta HP Charge, Peta MP Charge, and Exa Burst Plus. These are obviously his strongest skills, but you have to wait until pretty much the end of the fight to get access to them there. And then Burst Plus and Burst Plus, like we just talked about here, 53 times mods. One is Chaos Wave Awaken, one is Bolting Strike. They both also have 100% Ice and Lightning resistance there. One of them unlocks Terra Burst, the other one unlocks Terra Burst Plus. So let's talk about these unlock skills down here real quick, all right, as quickly as possible. The ones that we really care about, the Terra versions, Terra Burst Plus, Exa Burst Plus, all this stuff down here. Exa Burst Plus is Bolting Strike 65 times mod, Fire, Ice, and Lightning Emperor of 120%. Peta Burst Plus is a 60 mod, Bolting Strike 110%. Terra Burst Plus is 55 times mod, Bolting Strike 100% Imperil. We have Exa Burst, which is a 65 mod, as you can see, 120% Fire, Ice, and Lightning Imperil. Peta Burst, 60 mod, Chaos Wave Awakened, 110% Imperil. Terra Burst, 55 mod, 100% Imperil for you there. So we have the normal versions are Chaos Wave Awakened. The plus versions are his Bolting Strike. So you have Terra Burst and a Peta Burst and an Exa Burst for the Chaos Wave Awakened skills. And you have Terra Burst Plus, Peta Burst Plus, and Exa Burst Plus for the Bolting Strike skills. Same mods. They grow just as strong. Hopefully that's pretty much what you guys need to understand there. His Terra MP Charge, Peta MP Charge, Giga MP Charge, like we talked about before, you literally just get a little bit better HP or MP regen over time. And the stops, Giga Stop, Terra Stop, Peta Stop, you have some chances to put some status elements on your enemies for bosses that just does not matter whatsoever. Now we also have his Limit Burst here. Remember, he's a CG protagonist, so he starts off with it right away. Gives him a 250% magic buff for 4 turns to the caster that can't be dispelled, and it's a 72 times mod Limit Burst that you can get in there. And just like all of his other skills, it's a physical attack that does magic damage based off of his magic stat. Now for passives here, we have magic, and more magic, and magic, and more magic. So he has 100% true dual-wield magic. He also has magic pretty much everywhere. He's got a bunch of magic, guys. So we're looking at 40, 80, 120, 140, 160, 180, 200, 200% passive magic and 100% true dual-wield magic. So very, very strong. He also has a smattering of defense, HP, and spirit passives in there. He's not going to be bulky tank, but he's going to be not 0 HP squish. All right, he's in between those two areas for you guys there. He also has killers of 150% for demons and machine type monsters. He also has 40% physical evasion and 50% magic evasion. He has a guts passive. He's immune to charm, confusion, blind, and paralysis as well. And he's a pretty powerful character to get your hands on. Now, why would you want to pull for a character right now when I've been like anti-Neo Visions, all of this stuff? These two characters, they do stand out in comparison to everyone else, because if you don't have Zhuanglu Xinglong, doing magic damage in Dark Visions, if you're trying to just clear it easily, right, these are very nice characters to have access to, because you can imbue them with different support to your characters. You can bring them to pretty much any sort of fight that you want to do magic damage on. You want to do water damage, give them a water imbue. Thunder damage, thunder imbue. Dark damage, Dark Imbue or Dark Weapon. So they work with imbues, they work with elemental weapons, so you can bring them to a lot of different bosses out there, and they are very, very, very strong in that capacity. Now, the next character, Benevolent Beauty Rem, follows suit and is a lot more easier to digest and understand, and might be better for a lot of you guys out there, especially if you're trying to tackle Dark Visions tier content, get those bosses beaten as quickly as possible. Let's get in there with Benevolent Beauty Rem Tmr, the knowing tag here. Increases HP by 10%, magic and spirit by 30%, potency of healing items by 200%, and equipment magic, so true dual wield magic, by 25%. Now, I'm not sure if this is unstackable in the game. They didn't have the unstackable icon on it in the news. I don't see the unstackable icon on it here on our unofficial sources and on our unofficial banner review here, but I didn't see the unstackable icon on there, so you might actually be able to stack this up, equip this a couple of times, put 2 of these on, and get 50% true dual wield magic there, which would make it a fantastic Trust Master reward if that is what you're able to do. In the official news, in the banner and things of that nature, I don't see the one icon on it. I just went and looked at it, and it's just don't see it there. So her Stmr is the Orichalcum Dirk here, 171 magic dagger with the effect of Love's Edge, increases your high tide by 100% and enables dual wielding of one-handed weapons. So nothing super crazy, but like we talked about earlier when she got announced, you could use this on other characters possibly in the future. Mages who have true dual wield in their kits but do not have a way to actually dual wield weapons without you giving them a way to dual wield said weapon. This could be an option for you there, because this gives you the option to dual wield. It's a dagger, it has spirit on it, has magic on it, very strong weapon, but you don't need to really go out of your way, especially if you're going to be using her Tmr, the knowing tag. It's a pretty powerful Tmr anyway, so you're going to be able to activate her trust ability that way. For equipment selection, you can wear daggers, swords, staves, rods, as well as whips, so you also can put Quistis's Super Trust Master reward that we just got from the Final Fantasy VIII event, which gives you 50% true dual wield magic there as well. Armor selection, hats, as well as robes, light armor, and clothing there. And let's get into her skill set here. Thankfully, it's a lot easier to digest than Ace's was. So we have dual cast, healing prayer, which is a little bit of supportive healing and status ailment removal. Then we have Siphon Sphere for the old MP drain in the arena. And then we have Faraga, Blizzaga, and Thundaga MIS. These are all Chaos Wave Awakened. This is her basic imperils and imbues. So she's got a fire imbue, thunder imbue, and an ice imbue, as well as a 90% imperil for each of those 3 elements. Then we have Dagger Boomerang, Chaos Wave Awakened, physical attack that does magic damage here as well to all enemies. Now, do keep in mind, Faraga, Blizzaga, and Thundaga, those are not, I repeat, physical attacks that do magic damage, but these also are not her main damage dealing skills here. So keep that in mind. You also probably won't be using them all that often. Then we have Leave It To Me, which cures all status elements from all allies and removes all status effects from all allies. Then you have Cleansing Flame, Cleansing Freeze, and Cleansing Lightning. And these are physical attacks that do magic damage that scale up your magic stat here. They are slightly more powerful than the Blizzaga, Faraga, and Thundaga. And they also do imbue you and do the imperil of 90% for 6 turns. So it's just a stronger version, but they are a single target there comparison to the Faraga, Blizzaga, and Thundaga. We have the Cleansing, Flame, Freeze, and Lightning. We have Mana Alchemy here, costs 20 of her own limit burst gauge crystals to give 200 MP to your party. Then we have Break Sight Rem, increases physical damage against demons and machine monsters by 30%. All right, with a 55% spirit break and a 20 times multiplier there. But if you use it after Accelerate Type 0, it changes into a 50% buff for 3 turns to all allies for physical and magical damage against demons and machine monsters. It becomes a 70% spirit break, and it does a 24 times multiplier. And this is a physical attack that does magic damage there. And it is the Bolting Strike family. Now, she also has dual cast and triple cast in her kit here. And then we get into her big, powerful stuff that you're going to be using a lot of the time here. So we have Accelerate Type 0 that we just talked about, 250% magic buff for 4 turns to the caster that cannot be dispelled, 35 times mod, physical attack that does magic damage, Bolting Strike, Live On, 4 turn cooldown, available on 1, Auto Revive, 100% HP Auto Revive for 2 turns to all allies, mitigates damage taken by 50% for 2 turns to all allies, and then has an HP regen heal, a massive one for 2 turns to all allies there. So some very strong support actions that you can utilize while you're setting up in Dark Visions, right? Keep your guys alive, auto revive, mitigation, HP regen. Do this in normal boss fights as well. You have a Summon True Eidolon, just like the one from Ace. This is going to fill LB gauge, fill your Evo gauge, and then she sacrifices herself. And then we have Seraphim Strike, 4-turn cooldown, available on turn 1, decreases fire, ice, and lightning resistance by 120% for 4 turns to one enemy, and it is a physical attack that does magic damage 60 times multiplier to one enemy, bolting strike, chaining frame family. Then we have Flying Daggers, 43 times multiplier. If used after Accelerate type 0, it turns into Flying Daggers ++, and the multiplier goes up to a 47 times mod. Remember, physical attack that does magic damage, bolting strike, chain family. And the Seraphim Strike does not say that it cannot be utilized with dual wield, so if you want to go for those turn 1 kills, kind of like how people just lit the Magnus ability on Zhuanglu Xinglong, dual cast and fire off twice, you can do the same thing with Seraphim Strike there, imbue her with someone else, and then Spirit Break the monster, and then just have Seraphim Strike go off there and Chain Weave it, or do whatever it is that you want to do with that skill there. It is Bolting Strike. You'll be able to get 2 casts of that off and do a bunch of damage to the monster there. So you can also, you know, chain that with Zhuanglu and Xinglong if that's a goal that you want to do. You're allowed to do that there. For her LB here, let's scroll down real quick. We have the True Seraphim Strike, 250% magic buff for 3 turns to the caster, 120% fire, ice, and lightning, imperil for 3 turns to all enemies, and it's a 60 times multiplier to all enemies there. So nothing super crazy, but let's go to her passives really quickly, and you will notice that she has the 6 times mod cap damage when dual wielding. Ace does not have this. This is why I think Rem is better overall. Less confusing to use, and then just does a bunch of damage because of the 6 times mod chain cap when dual wielding. She has 100% true dual wield there, and then her magic stat, she also has a bunch of that there for you as well, just like Ace does. So very, very, very strong stuff. She also has 150% demon and machine killer. She has a lot of different multiplier increases for her weaker skills, right? Like the Dagger, Boomerang, Blazaga, Faraga, Thundaga, MIS, and Blazaja, Faraja, and Thundaja, the old actual spells there, but nothing super crazy. She's immune to stop, poison, and silence, and she also has a guts ability as well. So very similar to Ace in that regard, but she actually has a 6 times mod chain cap, which I think makes her very, very, very powerful. So if you've missed out on Zhuanglu Xinglong and you've been kind of wanting to do Dark Visions and you're kind of like, man, these mage fights are kind of just a pain in the butt, and I wish I had someone that was flexible with imbues and imperils from outside support and elemental weapons and all these other things, then this is a character that would be right up your alleyway, and it even works with Zhuanglu Xinglong on top of that, guys. So also, you know, she's got access to Kiraja. Okay, you want to go in there with Kiraja and Re-Raise and Ray. She has some supportive elements, but that's not really what you're pulling her for. You're pulling for the flexible abilities of Rem as well as Ace, as far as gearing, using physical killers, doing magic damage, being able to utilize different imbues and imperils from outside sources. That's what makes these two characters stand out against all the other mages in the game. That's what makes them kind of worth pulling right now, even though Neo Visions is coming out, is that if you want that sort of flexibility, that sort of ease of use, right, for Dark Visions right now, then that could be worth it for you right now, so you can get in there and do that event and get those rewards as we continue on forward towards Neo Visions. These kind of characters are the only sort of characters that I'm going to talk about worth pulling for. Things like this that kind of stand out and they're unique, and then obviously the big supports that we're going to be talking about as well in the near future. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for spending some time here today. Let me know if you're pulling for this banner or if you are just 100% hands off anything until Neo Visions. Until then, guys, stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, guys.